I have to wear glasses because it's my character. There's no problem?
That's all right.
No?
No. Yeah, put it on. Yeah, that's better.
We got a big surprise.
A trampoline? Another pony? Fake IDs?
It's even better. This year, no more back and forth at Christmas. We're not doing the back and forth. Nope, I just said that.
Yay!
In the first movie, you was a little time, and now you have more time.
It's good to be able to come back for the sequel, and it's also good to know that the sequel turned out so good. I think people are really going to enjoy this movie.
Hello? Grandpa Kurt?
My dad is gonna scoff at everything we do.
Your father hasn't met the new evolved Dusty.
I love playing Dusty, and people really love the dynamic between Brad and Dusty. And in this film, you know, we're really trying to work together, co-parenting, and we seem to have a good handle on it until, you know, my dad shows up and, you know, basically says that this is all BS, and, you know, he sees that beneath the surface there are some serious issues that are unresolved, and obviously ends up creating tension to the point where we are hating each other more than we did the first time around.
Dear God. This is gonna come off weird, Dusty, but he's beautiful.
Why don't you bring the car around?
I'm not the driver. I'm Brad.
Who do you think is the best grandpa? Mel? You?
We both instruct each other. We both change each other in the course of the movie.
Yes,
like any
you
good
go.
comedy, things change.
They're two sides of a coin. In fact, there's aspects of both of them that would work if you could put it into one person.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beauty of, you know, what we're displaying here.
Hey, how's your day?
Stepdads and dads don't always get along, but Dusty and I have this co-dad thing on lockdown.
And that's the great thing about putting us together as a comedy partnership, is that we're two sides, two completely different approaches to parenting, and both of us need the other one. You know, we need to be influenced by the other one.
Yes. And life in general. I can't wait to see what happens when they go to Vegas.
Dad! Red sweater! He wears a red sweater so I can see him in a crowd.
There's my big man!
What can you say about your character in this movie?
As with every character in this movie that was described in the first, it's kind of the continuation of, you know, I was brought in as like a badass that would scare MarkWahlberg at the end of Daddy's Home. And that, you know, Mark's dad makes Mark uneasy. And then I'm kind of brought in the mix when the chaos is at its height to add to the stress, I guess.
Don't you want to spend the holidays with your one true, real dad?
Brought him all the way up here just to get back at me.
What is working with Will and Mark?
Will, they're just great. They're great guys. They had a long history, of course. They've done two major comedies.
Three.
Well, this is their third.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I thought it was their fourth.
So that they already had this great collaboration, and they just brought us aboard in the most generous, collaborative way. And we have to give credit for Sean Anders for casting us as their parents. I mean, Will and I, we belong together. So do Mark and Mel. You know, it's the difference between those two pairings that makes it so very funny.
It's only been 2 weeks, but it feels like forever!
It does, doesn't it?
And this guy's raising your kids half the time?
How's working with MelGibson and John?
Fantastic. I remember Will and I, when we were sitting at the table read the first time around, and they just started reading the lines. I was like, oh gosh.
Oh, this is gonna be funny.
Yeah.
They're both perfect for, and that was, you know, when we talked about doing the sequel to this movie, and the Sean Anders and John Morris who wrote the script, when they pitched the premise of introducing our fathers, we were very kind of open and honest about the fact that it had to be two kind of iconic actors. It couldn't just be, you know, just cast whoever. And that search took some time, but once we settled in on Mel and John, we knew we had, you know, two people worth seeing.
And his total lack of masculinity, I mean, his weak chin and soft underbelly bothers you not a bit.
You know, I'm just getting the feeling maybe you guys would like some privacy.
This is the first time that you're in a comedy and you're the bad guy.
The bad guy?
Yes.
Am I the bad guy?
Yes.
Gee, I thought I was the good guy.
Like you.
Stanislavski says, don't make character judgments. Don't make judgments about your character.
No man is the villain in his own story.
In his own story. Yeah, there you go.
And that's the way to play a villain. Is if you consider
Absolutely.
you consider yourself to be right and
That's
everybody else to be wrong.
The best kind of villain is the stand-up comic kind of villain. You know, the guy with the laughs. Yeah,
that's right.
The villains are always the best.
Tell the pop-up joke.
Hey, kids, I got a good one for you. Two dead hookers wash up on the shore.
No.
We have this great scene where we really confront each other, and we challenge each other, and we really critique each other, and we're dressed as wise men.
It is stupid.
It's wonderfully stupid.
You gonna pump fake that thing all night? Or you gonna take a shot, Brad?
Huh? He's never played sports ever.
What? What?
Maybe it's stuck to his hand.
How is to work with kids? We know you love to spend time with kids. I see a lot of your videos. One video made me cry. But how is the experience now in a movie?
The kids were great. They're great, and they were such characters. We talk about the relationship between Mark and Will, and the addition to John and Mel, and certainly I was fortunate enough to come back. But it is a story about being a parent to these kids, and the kids were so great as well. They were just so funny.
I feel like this is like National Lampoon's Criminal Vacation. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
With Chevy Chase?
Yeah.
I feel that this kind of like that movie.
Yes.
Well, it's all a family. It goes from kids to adults to grandpa. I mean, you know, there's something.
And there's no getting around it. You do a movie about a family, let alone an extended, blended, dysfunctional family, and you're dealing with really, really serious emotions.
You're dealing with America.
Right. And the more serious the emotions, the funnier it is.
The only person that can ruin your Christmas is looking back at you from that mirror.
All I see is you, Brad.
Sorry.
The last movie you do, Mel, was the drama, and now it's comedy. It's feel weird or
No,
it's
not at all.
easy?
No, I love it. I love the change of pace. And I like John. John's the most versatile guy I've ever known, and ever seen. And it's just, it's a joy.
Shut up! Hey, you shut up! No, you shut up!
This is getting good, boy.
I like whatever they throw at me, you know. This was a joy. And the fact that I did this on the heels of playing Winston Churchill in The Crown, I just love that.
That's cool.
The more different, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Griffey! Watch out! Stand clear!
Do you have a similarity with your characters in their real life?
Oh, are we like our characters? Let's see. Brad wears a lot of like khakis, Dockers pants. I don't really have any Dockers, but I do drive an electric car. Brad would drive. He would drive like an electric car.
We're gonna settle this physically.
Cut it off! This is child abuse!
Don't be such a snowflake.
No, I'm not cool like Dusty. I'm just a regular dad trying to figure it out, trying not to make too many mistakes and raise these kids the right way.
5 more minutes and I get to be Joseph.
You throw that, we are no longer co-dads.
Do you think this movie have a message for all families that have sometimes problems with divorce or with his kids or grandfathers?
I think the underlying message is there is no perfect relationship. Just do your best to be there for the people you love. I think that's the message.
Thank you.
You know what, Dusty? You're not worth it.
Psych! You're totally worth it!